Hey guys, this week's podcast features Frank and Rachel Dispenza, the owner of Dispenza's Meat Market and Slaughterhouse. Frank and Rachel came down to the studio, talked about opening their shop, the importance of local farms, and what makes their business so special. Let's get to it.
Me and my wife have recently had revelation of getting our meat and produce from locally sourced farms and things like that. It's we've done it probably for a year now, where we pretty much only go to farmers markets and things like that, and it's remarkable how much better our home meals are now than
Absolutely.
they were 4 years ago and things like that.
Yeah.
We try to instill every family member and every person we encounter, we try to emphasize listen, let's just start with eggs. Just only get your eggs from local farms, and you will not believe how much better these eggs are.
People don't get that. I mean, we started selling eggs. Rachel started raising egg chickens, and we have Rhode Island Reds, and we have some White Rocks. And people say, well, what's the difference with the egg? And that's exactly what you just said. Try it.
Yeah.
And you get people that say, I baked with this egg and my cake seemed better. Or
Yeah, right?
the meal, the yolk was thicker.
Yeah.
And it's funny because why is it like that? Well, it's because it's being raised the way it's supposed to. They're not in cages.
They're not stuck in a little cage, just constantly lights on all the time processing eggs.
Yeah.
I get paranoid. I have a peacock in the light.
Tell her she didn't want to be on the microphone. Look at her.
Well, I don't.
You'll be picked up. It's fine.
No, I'm not. It's not on, is it?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
it's on. This has been gone. This is what it is. It's a phone
No, but
talking.
I'm with you. I think a lot of people had that moment when they watched Food Inc. or one of those documentaries where there was that aha moment where oh my god, this is really that bad. And some people then completely shut it down and become a vegetarian, or some people just decide okay, I'm going to be smarter where I choose my money and things like
Rachel
that.
took it a little too far when she started experiencing that there was soups. She loves soup. Well, then next thing you know, we've had more squash soup in our house. She makes an excellent French onion, and I'm dying for that. But instead, she's got to have buttercut, eggcorn, any type of soup. I mean, there's squash soups, there's souffles, there's casseroles. It's everything. But you know what? It's funny when you hear someone say about their kids. We have 6 children.
Yes, I saw that.
That's
crazy. A lot of kids.
5 boys, 1 girl, and Lucy's probably the toughest of them all at 3 years old. But one thing about our kids is they'll sit down at the table. They will eat anything that's there. And
that's awesome.
They actually will ask or know where it came from. Rachel will bring them to the farmer's market.
That's
with
really
them.
great.
And one tough issue we have to address, and I'm sure we'd get into it anyway, is we're a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
So some people hear that name, slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
well, where does the meat come from? So would you rather buy your meat from a commercial store who you don't really know? Are they treating the animals humanely?
Yeah.
Are they doing what's really right? Are they buying them from the right sources? Our children will be out there while we slaughter. And in the summertime, we have a 13-year-old, Frank. He's out there actually helping us move the barrels around and everything. It's not for everybody. We don't push the kids to do it.
Yeah.
Lucy, the reason why we have live pigs on our farm as pets is because Lucy thought pigs actually hung upside down, split in half in a cooler. So Rachel would go, come here, look in the cooler, and there's Lucy going, hi, piggy, and she's petting this pig. And mostly it was the Team Meadow pigs. We do so many of his.
Yeah.
She's in there petting these old spots on the head. I love my piggy. I want to go see it. And here she is. Well, Lucy, the pig really doesn't hang upside down. So we bought her a pig as a pet.
That's cute.
But they do learn that they're raised for a reason. And of course, there is some sadness when it comes time.
Have you had to have that talk with a couple of the kids? Maybe the middle ones.
Yeah, Joseph names every animal Joseph. Ironically. So we have to butcher Joseph, and I said we do, but why? And usually it really does. If you say to him, well, don't we need to eat? We do. Mm-hmm. But why do we have to butcher Joseph? Well, then who are we going to butcher? And then he'll look around and he realizes he named everything Joseph. So, well, I guess we have to butcher Joseph. But they're fine with it. Whether they want to watch it or not is okay. We don't force it. Yeah. But we force. The main thing is there's absolutely no mistreatment of animals.
Yeah, it's all with respect for the
Every
animal.
day they feed them. They collect the eggs. They think it's the neatest thing in the world.
Nice.
A couple of the kids talk about their teachers wanted to bring different times. My teacher wants you to bring some pork chops in or this or that. So it's kind of neat for them. It gives them kind of a sense of, they're part of this.
Yeah.
Actually local movement.
Yeah. Well, so you guys have owned the slaughterhouse and the market for like over a year now, about a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah. Were you guys living out in that area beforehand, or were you more?
No, it's a funny story.
Or?
I grew up in the town of Pendleton.
Okay.
I grew up raising animals. I was with my grandfather and my uncle.
Okay.
Taught me how to raise animals, mainly goats and sheep.
Yeah.
So I did have a background of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did slaughter those animals, rabbits. Rachel, on the other hand, grew up with sidewalks and streetlights, and she would explain to me it was time to come in when the streetlights came on. And I said, what does that mean? She grew up in Kenmore, the village of Kenmore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Her father was a fireman in Kenmore, and actually her father had quite a history in Buffalo, too. He worked for the Courier Express. And,
oh, wow.
And unfortunately, we lost him this past February to cancer, and that's actually why Rachel has short hair now. We did a function at our market for Roswell and Bald for Bucks.
That's really great.
But it's also what it's done for her is she grew up on this sidewalks, houses so close, the car fits between the house.
Exactly, yes.
I grew up on this open land. I was so excited to move out here. She, admittedly, she'll admit she did it to try to kind of make me a little bit happier with life. I was a police officer, and after 16 years of just seeing nothing but sadness every day.
Yeah, that's a tough gig.
Yeah, it really was. It wasn't like it used to be. When you first started, you were there to help people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the type of person I am. I want to do things that make people smile.
Yeah.
Make them happy. Well, unfortunately, in police work, that doesn't happen. So we kind of did this, and I remember Rachel, one of the first nights we were out there, she said, it's so dark. Where's the street lights? And I said, well, there's stars. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a big move for her, basically a big move for the kids because they didn't get to grow up like I did.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Rachel's really, I mean it when I say the chickens are hers. She's got her chicken house. Of course, it's all decorated and all that.
I love it.
She's got her peacock, her couple of turkeys that she has and stuff.
Nice.
And of course, we just had a pig that had babies, so we're, kind of.
You got a legit farm going on out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. and there's this agritourism thing that's also coming in. You hear about these places like Becker Farms, great place out in Iron County.
That's a destination. Like,
absolutely. And we weren't really even trying to do anything like that. But now customers were coming to buy meat at our shop during the week, and we noticed, gee, are we losing business during the week? We didn't see them. Yeah. Turns out they were waiting to the weekend so they could bring their kids so that the kids could play with the animals. They spend time in the store.
That's really cool.
I mean, when we bought a business that was owned from a previous family before.
Yeah, it was Cloy's, right?
Yeah, for a few generations. And when we took over, we just kind of embraced more of the community, more of this open-mindedness to local foods, restaurants, kind of the outside of the box thinking of, there's more things you can do with an animal than make a hamburger patty out of it or a pork chop.
Before, like, you bought Cloy's, I mean, was that even on the radar of both you guys, like local eating or things like that?
Well, local eating and stuff was because we actually had I don't think we'll get in trouble for this now, but we lived in the town of Tonawanda and we raised chickens in our garage. So you weren't allowed to.
And we had a big garden.
Huge garden. The kids had a vegetable stand that they'd sell vegetables.
So you always had a stronger connection with food than probably most, say most people. Yeah,
absolutely. And we both love to cook, so we never were a boxed dinner type of person, takeout type of thing. Unfortunately, pizza's a weakness of mine, so... But
as many people,
yeah. Other than that, I mean, we never were. Rachel's a great cook. I'm a good cook, and we always wanted to cook with hardcore ingredients. We weren't really into this,
Yeah.
If it comes prepared, then there's really no fun in it.
Exactly, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
That's good. So how has like the last year and a half been? I mean, has it just been like nonstop?
Go ahead, you can answer.
That's good.
Yeah, see, that was okay. Joe Kennedy from Spars.
Yes, he sat down here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, he did. Joe Kennedy. Rachel just won his classmate of the year, or a student of the year, because Joe Kennedy says when people ask you how are you doing, you smile and you say it's great. It's great. I understand what he meant by that is you keep the positive attitude.
Yeah.
No, it's been very challenging.
Yeah.
not just on the personal front with, trying to raise a large family.
Yeah.
And we have some very strong family values where, that we try to keep that in line. But as far as the way we wanted to run our business, we met many roadblocks with financial issues. And let's face it, we bought a very old business and it wasn't used to doing the volume that we do.
Okay.
So we go into this old building who's kind of sighing and ready for retirement. All of a sudden we kick it in the butt and say, hey, let's go. We're heading out. So we've just did a review of our business, and we basically we're almost at triple the business of what the previous business was doing, which is great.
In a less amount of time.
Yeah, in a less amount of time. And then, so the obvious question is, well, then why aren't you on top of the heap? But it's just, it's
any first couple of years of business is
absolutely.
We ran into a lot of problems that we had to take care of, just maintenance problems and equipment. So.
And there's many things, like with Dave Costantino and Aroma Group, what their whole focus is, the question was, why are you trying to help us right now? I mean, many people need help. I mean, personally, we could use help, on our house mortgage or something. But why would someone want to help us in our business right now? And really, it's a simple answer, is because what we're doing is wholeheartedly committed to providing people with the absolute honest, most local, best food and quality you can get. But one main key to it is what some people may not see is the treatment and handling of the animals. Because some people don't realize this. If an animal isn't treated the greatest and it's not handled properly, it affects the meat quality.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, I mean, I have a strict policy. I want animals there the day before, at least.
Yeah.
They need to be brought in. If I see anybody mistreating an animal as they're bringing it into our pens, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Yeah.
Whether that takes business or money away from me, I don't care, because to me, it's not worth it. The animals are raised for a reason, and that's to provide us with good quality food. But there's absolutely no excuse for mistreating animals.
Yeah.
So
they have feelings, and they know. They come to the place, they're in a different environment.
Yeah.
They've never been there. I know they know.
Yeah,
they must know what's going to happen. Why,
why stress them out
so
even more?
It sounds funny when we say it like this, but
they do have feelings.
We're trying to make it the best experience possible, and some old school farmers or something might laugh at that. What do you mean? You're making it? What are you? A comforter for them and stuff. For example, Stillwater Farms, they wouldn't have come to us if we didn't, tell Jay and Margaret this is the way we're going to treat our animals.
Yeah.
Come in and look at it. They were impressed by the cleanliness of our stalls.
And they've raised these animals from birth, and they're almost like they're kids.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
I raise them. I put my heart and soul into these animals. I want them to be treated the best they can at their end of their life.
Yeah, exactly.
And where's the proof? Go on Facebook. I just delivered a Stillwater Farm lamb to Bistro Europa 2 weeks ago. Steve Gedra gone nuts about the quality of it and everything. And
I've been seeing them. Like every day they have a status about what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some people can say, well, it's the feed, it's the hay, it's this and that. No, it's all of that, but it's also the heart that you put into it.
Yeah.
Because if your heart's not into it and you just raise an animal in a pen, you're not going to get the quality.
No.
So part of what our goal is now is I'm not satisfied with our animal pens that we have for holding pre-slaughter.
Yeah.
Are they humane now? They are, but there's a lot of improvement can be done. There's Dr. Temple Grandin has many different designs for pens, and there's things that people don't think about. For instance, cows don't like right-hand turns, and they don't like 90-degree angles. So there's a pen system that's rounded off where it's brighter at the end. The animals want to go more to where there's not to sound like I don't mean to say they're going towards the light. I mean almost literally, but they want to feel comfortable. Why does an animal want to be in fear as it's going into a pen? And people don't want to hear the down and dirty of it, but an animal's scared, its heart's pumping more, there's more blood pumping through its body at the time. Yeah. And at the time of slaughter, when that happens, you're not getting the proper, blood loss through the body that you should get to bleed the meat out to give it the best quality.
Yeah. I think I had that moment, I think the first time I had Team Meadow pork, because we've been to the farm a couple times, and I know Rich and his wife, Bonnie, the way that they would talk about how they were super cautious about stressing the animal out in transportation and things like that, and like if you don't try it, you think like, okay, yeah, I'm sure like that's great.
Yeah.
But like trying their pork is, I can't go back to any other pork at this point. And every person I've told this story to, I'm like, you don't understand. Like they're raised very well. They have this room to go, and like I'll get you like the Snickers, and like my father and I'll be like, yeah, that's great. I'm sure they take really care. And then
they'll tell you it's $1.99 at Wegmans.
Exactly.
This week.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
But then I put the T-Meadow hot dogs from Spars in front of them, and I'll be like, you've never had a hot dog.
Yeah.
And I'll give them that, and like you can see like the change. Like
Yeah.
it really does affect the quality of the meat. I mean, obviously it's the right thing to do, but also the, I guess, benefit is that it actually does taste better, in my opinion. Yeah.
And it really does. And Rich will bring his pigs are always brought to my place more than 24 hours in advance. I mean, he's adamant about that.
Yeah, because he wants them to settle in.
Absolutely. And that brings us into kind of another thing. I'm not sure if you heard about it. In the big fuss that Rich had a couple weeks ago, we're working together, and there's a unique thing here. And now here's two people kind of at the same goal. I have a slaughterhouse. Rich wants to do a slaughterhouse, but right away people think, oh, there's a competition.
Yeah.
There's absolutely zero competition between Rich Tillieu and I. There's actually more of a closer relationship than you'll ever see between two people with the same interest. And the neat thing about it is Rich is trying to put on his property a slaughterhouse, which will be basically the slaughterhouse portion will be run by me. Mm-hmm. It'll be Dispenza's Meat Market doing the slaughtering under our USDA inspection.
Yeah.
But the benefit is the pigs are on their own property.
Exactly, yeah.
They're going to actually go through, if you will, for better sake of words, like a fire drill. The pigs are going to be used to walking through a certain area.
Yeah.
So that when it is time to go into slaughter, they're not going into a strange area.
Yeah.
As far as after the slaughter's done, that's where Rich is going to take over. He's going to have a charcuterie there.
Yeah.
He's going to have an educational kitchen, classroom, because people do need to learn more about it.
Oh, God, yeah.
And, the smokehouse, everything. And some people look at that and think, geez, are you sure this is legit? You two, there's a competition. There's no competition.
That's awesome.
Absolutely
That's good.
not, because there's enough to go around. And for a special relationship like us to work together, and now put our name, Dispenza's Meat Market, T-Meadow Farms, and then throw all their names that are connected with it. You just said it. Spars.
Oh, yeah.
Spars is making stuff out of T-Meadow pork. Bistro Europa.
Oh, God, yeah.
We got Carmelo's in Lewiston.
Carmelo's, which is amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Tabri with Bruce.
Yeah.
We've got
who Bruce is like one of the best advocates for
absolutely.
for snout to tail and charcuterie and encouraging people to learn how to break down an animal and things like that. Like he's
absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely. And then we have now, there's so many more places into it that people don't know about. We've got Casa Antica in Lewiston.
Okay.
Another great Italian restaurant. Dave Casentino from Trattoria is starting to get more into, he's buying a lot of stuff from me and starting to,
nice.
Look into more of Rich's products.
Nice.
Manhattan's in Lockport. And I hate to even name places because you don't want to forget somebody.
Yeah.
Julie Blackman's got the Farmers and Artisans in Williamsville.
Yeah.
Absolute great, person to help promote this type of thing. Her farm, Blackman Farms, we sell their products in our store.
And her butters and stuff go great on pork.
They really do. Her father, Bob Blackman, was in the store yesterday bringing some of their cider from their local farm we'll sell in our store. And he was looking at the butters and everything that it's from his place that Julian did. And we were laughing because I said, people don't get it. They come in and they say, oh, that's a little bit high priced for a butter, but it's not just a butter. I mean, these are pear and port, and this is all natural, local stuff going in this. Now take that on a T-Meadow pork chop.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you're done. You're done. I mean,
for kids, that's what they do. They slay.
And I have to say, I love the local wineries. There's Arrowhead, Gustafson, Longcliff, Nagerland. There's so many local wineries, but throw a T-Meadow pork with some Blackman pork butter on it and a PBR. You're done. That's as classy as I get.
Good. Yeah,
that's as classy as I'm going to get right there.
That's great.
But it's amazing, and that's the whole thing. I'd love to sit and say, next Wednesday is just about us and come out. It's really not. Is it focused and based on trying to help us and help our place? It absolutely is. Our main goals now, like I said, is the better our humane handling of our pens.
Yeah.
We need some help with our refrigeration, which is a huge overhead cost right now. If we can update that. But by doing that and by helping us, you're not just centered on helping us. It's not about just our retail store. It's about us being able to do a better job processing Stillwater, T-Metal, Blackman, Hanson Beef, all these places. Mathis Farms is a great other place for pork. If people are looking and they're not as much interested in the heritage breeds and they're just looking for your regular pig, and that's fine. It's great. Still good pork, but we'll get stuff from them too. I mean, it's
nice.
You can't shut everybody out, but at the same point, you have to
be selective still.
Be very selective. We try to stick as much as we can with Hanson Farms beef. It's
nice.
He's in Middleport or Royalton area.
Yeah.
Mike Hanson and his wife and his kids I have not had one beef come through our shop that's been different. It's so consistent.
Nice.
Customers might get a little frustrated. It takes a little while if they ordered a beef, but I tell them it's an animal. It's not a mathematical equation. It's going to be done November 12th.
Yeah.
It's done when it's done. And so we're just so grateful to have the people that we have supporting us, the farmers that are willing to work with us, and it's overwhelming.
That's
it really
awesome.
is.
We all have to work together and support each other to all.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked to a lot of chefs down here, and there's no, like you were saying with you and Rich, like there's no competition. I mean, maybe like a friendly competition where like they're trying to raise their game and everyone around them, but I mean, they'll share secrets. They'll tell people how they make a dish and things like that, and it's all for the betterment of the scene in general.
Sure.
Yeah. And so,
and like you just said, share secrets. That's another point. There's some slaughterhouses that we've reached out to locally, try to talk to, and hey, let's be honest. A year and a half ago, we were new to it.
Yeah.
Well, someone might still tell you we're new to it, but I got to be honest with you. The hours and time we've put in and the experience, we're far from that now. I mean, we've done pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's funny that the places we've reached out to, Ford Brothers is a wholesale meat place in West Valley. They used to do a lot of slaughtering. Now they just deal with wholesale meats.
Yeah.
But they introduced us to a couple smaller slaughterhouses. M&M Meats, which is Matt and Mary Mest out in Batavia. Faulkner Meats, Ron and Lori in Attica. And we went there and we kind of felt like, geez, these people are going to see us come in. We're another slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
They're going to push us out the door. They literally embraced us. They gave us
great.
hope. They told us about how they started with bad equipment. Matt Mest, he does a smoking meat for us.
Okay.
Go out to see Matt, and he'll say, come here for a minute. And he'll take me in the other room and say, when you're skinning a cow, here's another trick you can do.
Oh, wow.
Now, why would he want to teach me that if I do better, I could take business from him? But he realizes there's enough to go around. We need to stop the competitive edge and start working together, because as a group in this community, if we started all and be true to your word. If you're going to say that you're selling local meats, sell local meats.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't fool people. But if we could all stick together and do that, I mean, just think about it. I mean, let's stop importing stuff. Let's stop buying stuff with pink slime and additives and hormones.
It's just you hear those things and it gets worse. But I do think that there is, right now it's a minority, but I think it's a growing minority who are interested in knowing where their stuff's coming from, who don't mind spending a little extra for quality ingredients, and I think that actually that demographic is also getting younger too. I think it's younger people who,
definitely.
And there's new, like the terms like charcuterie. People, what does that mean? What kind of fancy French thing is that? Well, you know what it is. It's probably the best meat you'll ever eat.
God,
Lardo. Bruce and Carmelo, you get a lardo from them, and it's. I mean, you think about it. Who's going to eat cured pig fat?
It's so good.
Well, it takes. I mean, isn't it crazy? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You take a T-metal chunk of fat, you cure it the proper way, season it right, and it's sliced right, it's presented right. We just had a beef tongue at Carmelo's. The great thing about this business is you don't have to be rich to go out and eat at these places. We can trade and barter. So Carmelo's great with that. So we were at his place the other night, and it makes you feel good to go in and say, we don't want a menu. Just tell Carm we're here.
It's
and
the
we'll,
best.
We'll get what we
It's the best
and
thing
he
in the
sent
world.
out beef tongue with local pears, and he's got tomato chops, pork belly, just anything.
That place is. It's on my like top 3 favorite places to
yeah.
eat, like hands down. Like if I have like a special occasion, like that's
Yeah.
that's in the discussion of the places that I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And Carm's just doing a lot more now with the bone marrow.
Yeah.
I've been cutting them a nice 2.5 inch bones, the marrow bones, and he's salting them, seasoning them perfectly, and he's selling out. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's
really
great
is.
to see people interested in eating like
Yeah.
that, and beef tongue and things like
Beef
that.
tongue.
Utilizing all the animal.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the best part. I mean, and it's just, you have to.
Rabbits.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rabbits. There's also Emerald Farms. Rachel and Matt, they're out in Portsville, I believe. I apologize if I get the town wrong. Where they live.
That's okay. We'll have like a list of links so people can.
Yeah,
find
but
these
Emerald
places.
Farm, Rachel, Matt, they started with rabbits, and Dave Costantino's been doing
yeah.
the rabbits in his restaurant, and
Yeah.
who's thinking, what are we doing with these rabbits? But there's just now there's a lean meat.
Yeah.
It's healthy for you. It's great, and it's local fed, and they're great people that are, doing things with. They have chickens that are cleaning up after the rabbits underneath the cages and stuff.
The
and
whole
doing what,
the whole system's
yeah,
working,
it really is. It's amazing. But there's just so many things out there. You could just go on and on that people don't realize, and they might look at and say, "Oh, that's gross. That's disgusting." But another thing Dave did, I believe it was Bryan Street, was doing beef cheek raviolis, which turned out to be a big thing. Or he was doing I'm not a big fan of portion sizing because we're a butcher shop. So, I want to know, do you want 1 inch, 2 inch? How do you want your steaks cut?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Tell me how to.
Dave's killing me here. He's helping us out, but he's killing me with his portion sizes. But he's been doing a 38-ounce porterhouse.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
But they're selling out because you know why? It's presented right. It's natural. It's local.
Yeah.
And when people go, it's a dinner for two. It's an experience. You're not just going and just ordering something. You're actually going in, and your food shouldn't be just a everyday necessity. It should actually be an event.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree.
You go eat something that's presented well, and you're just sweetbreads,
Oh, sweet
cheeks,
breads, yeah.
anything. I mean, just it's amazing. What else now? Hanger steaks are coming back. Used to be called a butcher steak.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's the inside
hot
part
thing.
of the diaphragm, and it was called the butcher steak because the butcher would keep it for himself.
Yeah,
he wouldn't sell it. And I have a guy who works for me, helps me slaughter, and every once in a while he would say, he'd grab a couple butcher steaks, I'd give them to him. What are you doing with them? Well, I feed them to my dogs. and he laughs now because there's far and few between. And I said, Jeff, these are going. Restaurants are buying these. I mean, they're a good thing. It's funny. You think about the foods that our family ate, our ancestors far before, when you thought they were peasants or cheap
Peasant
things.
food,
Exactly. Yeah.
My grandmother always had this dish. It was funny. We laughed at the name jumbo. And it was an Italian thing, basically. You just threw everything in it. It was Italian sausage, peppers, onions, hot dogs.
Nice.
I don't know,
Every
whatever was
other
left.
fridge.
Chunk of chicken,
I like that.
onions, But
Yeah.
if you think about it, it was something that they ate because they were using all of their resources.
Yeah, yeah,
And the sweetbreads and the tongue were something that was thrown out.
yeah.
The poor people kept it and ate it. And
Yeah,
now all
yeah.
of a sudden people are catching on and going, wait a second.
Yeah, and it's become a cool thing to eat the weirder stuff. Like especially in like the age of like Twitter and Instagram, where people are posting the pictures of things that they're eating.
Okay, go to Bistro
it's
Europa.
very
Anything on
European,
Facebook for
Yeah.
Bistro Europa. We just had, what's S is always on
Oh, okay,
Facebook.
yes,
Friend
yeah.
of Bistros and other places. She writes one night they had a midnight master. I just had balls, breast.
Oh,
What was it? It was something that if you
it
looked
was
at
Carmelo's bomber. I think he did.
Carmelo's
Yeah.
Triple X Bomber.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
I was there. I had
Yeah,
that.
it was
very good.
lamb balls.
Yeah,
and,
lamb balls, tongue, and breast. I think
tongue, breast, and balls,
Yes.
all in a sandwich. People are writing and they're thinking, "What are you nuts?" But actually, well, I didn't mean to say "What are you nuts," but but really, it was an awesome thing.
Yeah.
I wish we were there. So those are the things that people look at and they go, "What are you crazy?" But taste it. I challenge people
Yeah.
to just please taste something. If you hear of it and you think it might be something odd, just try it.
Exactly, right? Like, what's the worst that happens?
Don't not, beef tongue. Rachel had it before me. She would have probably never ate it.
Yeah.
She
I
came
had it in
home.
Europe, and I didn't know what it was. They didn't tell us until we ate it.
A little bit different in Europe, though, than what Carmelo prepares.
But if you think,
True.
though, we're eating like they do in Europe. They utilize all the parts of the animal.
Yeah.
They prepare their foods. They take time for their family.
Yeah.
It's not just eat and go. It's an experience.
Oh, yeah,
You sit
you're there
down,
for
you
a
eat.
couple hours.
Yeah, and you're slow. You eat slow. You enjoy where you're eating.
Yeah,
You enjoy
yeah.
what you made. You
Yeah.
enjoy what...
Yeah,
I will say, though, I've had some beef tongue experiences where maybe it wasn't cooked
absolutely.
well enough, and it is chewy and rough.
Well,
and,
Carm
yeah.
explained it to us that,
Kind of like... What?
I think like Carmelo said, you got to brine it right, you
Yeah.
skin it right, you cook it right. We had it there a few weeks ago. We didn't actually know that that's what it was we were eating.
Yeah.
And then he came out and said, "How'd you like the beef tongue?" And I said, "Oh, is that what that was?" It was actually very good. It was delicious.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And another neat thing we did this summer, Rich's place, T Meadow, we had a pig cookout.
Oh, okay, that was the 4th of July thing? Or
Was it around 4th of July? It might have been somewhere around
I know
there.
there was a pig cookout I got invited to. I couldn't make it.
I believe that was it, actually.
Okay.
It was around that time.
Yeah.
So we go there, and of course I'm honored to be there. And there's a guy showed up, and I said to Rachel, there's a mass murderer here. This guy's going to kill us. And this guy shows up, some crazy T-shirt on that says something like I killed your mother or something. I don't know. And a violin case.
Nice.
And I said, "There's something wrong here. It's Scotty Harris. Have you met Scotty?" Scotty shows up. The violin case was full of his knives. He opens it up, and we had a blast. I mean, it was like
I could see Scotty
I think
Harris
it was.
being a serial killer.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was me, Bruce. It might have been Carm, Rich, Scotty. I know Joe Kennedy was there. Steve was probably
It's an
there.
all-star lineup.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and it's funny because somebody that doesn't know would be laughing at me, but I was in this group of these people cutting up this whole pig.
Yeah.
And we were just having a blast.
Yeah.
I was scared Scotty was going to cut my throat or something every time he opened the violin case. But it's funny. It's when you're into something and you're into a group, the people involved in it to you are like famous people. When you're not, they're not.
I could not agree with this more. I mean, just doing this podcast and meeting people who, I consider some of the most talented or people that I respect their passion to a degree, like getting to talk to them, having them in my cell phone. Like, it's just a weird thing.
Isn't it crazy?
My whole I'm sure like your social structure in the last year and a half, are completely different. I mean, we've been doing this 5 years, but I would say in the last 2, the people that I hang out with now are pretty much solely restaurant or food people. Like it's crazy how
feel honored.
Well,
Like they want to hang out.
I mean, a year
there is
ago,
a cool kid crowd.
A year
aspect to it for sure.
ago, Rachel and I might have went to like Pizza Hut and hung out at night. Now, last night, Rachel went out with Robin Ross from Arrowhead Wineries.
Oh, nice.
They saw a show at, what was the theater in
Alleyway
Buffalo?
Theater.
Nice.
Alleyway
They
Theater.
did
And then they went to
fantastic.
Bistro Europa afterwards.
That is
Meanwhile, I'm
We
at
both
home
had
crying.
The tomato pork ragu with the
I'm at home, and they're
yeah.
posting on Facebook. Robin and I are doing this, and we're drinking it, and I'm thinking that's nice, that's great. I'm at home, I got 6 kids crying. Where's mommy? But you know what? It is. You're right. It's our social structure now has changed to the point where it's what helps you get through because there are tough times. Let's face it. We all deal with difficult times, whether we're excited or so happy every day about our job. There's always something that seems to it's either someone or someone that tries to knock you down.
Yeah, and definitely in the restaurant food scene, just in general. I mean, every farmer we've talked to or every chef, it's not, people do not go into it for the money.
No.
And the people that do are making horrible products.
Sure.
But yeah.
I don't love getting up at 4 a.m. and going out there with my eyes closed trying to cut up an animal or something. I saw to get ahead and wonder if my arm got caught in there somewhere. But one thing that always sticks with me, when we first started, Rich invited us to a dinner that was at Carmelo's, and we thought we were just going to a dinner.
Oh.
And we're like, we're just going to we're late. And Rich kept calling and saying, where are you guys? Where are you guys? Now, we had just bought the Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
So, admittedly, we were like, scared kids, big eyeballs. What are we doing? We don't know. We're making. I have a book out there every night. Pages are all bloody because I'm turning each page trying to, what do I cut next? So we show up at this dinner, and there's like people clapping and walking up meeting us, and it was all the players. I mean, it was Gedra and Carmelo and Bruce and Kennedy and everybody. And it turns out they were having this dinner. Krista from
Krista Galini, a very good friend of ours.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She's if it wasn't for people like Krista, and we got to throw props to Casey for his photography.
Yes,
I mean, honest to God, think about what these people do. This is their job every day. But Krista chose us for an article. Casey took a picture.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's just exploded since then.
Yeah.
But we went to this dinner, and everybody was like, I can't believe it. You're here, and we're looking at each other like, is this some type of joke? But you know what? They said it right. They all said it's been the missing link. There's always been the chefs, the writers, the critics, the people
farmer.
like Joe, the farmer, everybody else. But there was never really a slaughterhouse that was willing to embrace this type of community. So they said we finally found someone, and I remember going off to the side and talking to Joe Kennedy, and he said, I bought Spars sausage. He said, my name's not Spars.
Exactly.
I didn't come from Europe. I didn't do this. He said, I walked in the shoes of somebody who was already set in this community.
Yeah.
And he said, you're kind of doing the same thing. And he said, the hard part is we have different views on what we want our future to be. And he gave me the best advice ever, and it's hard to stick with it. But Joe said, don't try to be that person.
Yeah.
When someone comes into your shop and says, oh, you're not the person that was here before.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not. Guess what? This is who I am. This is who we are. This is what we do.
That's great.
Be yourself. Be your own person. And if you can stick with that, you'll always have your own pride. Because when you're trying to be somebody else, you're just fighting against yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
Did you have any pushback from the veteran owners of Cloy's or anything like that? Or you pretty much embraced internally that you kept it going, or mix of both?
Unfortunately, there just hasn't been a relationship that we had hoped there would have been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there hasn't been.
I think, was it because you changed it?
Yeah, their vision
more...
was, I think, just to keep it the way that they always thought in their minds was the best way to go.
Yeah.
And I think there's a bit of...
I mean, me and Joe talked about this too, because he went through it when he took over Spars. That he,
I think anybody who's owned something for a long time, and they have the right to have an ownership to it and a respect. And you know what?
Not even just owned it; it was in their family, like
And-
grandfather,
and
father, them. So it was in there.
And we're
for a
proud
long
to
time.
have been a part of what they owned and what they did.
Yeah.
The sad part is, I don't think sometimes when you get a business and you change it, and when you turn out to be doing better than they did, they kind of take it in a bad way. And it's unfortunate because we were very proud to take over a family business and had hoped that there'd be a better relationship.
And I don't want to say we're doing better because we're better.
No, we're not saying we're better than that.
We're embracing other avenues and exploring. Like, we're riding the wave. We're taking on this whole where your food comes from and enjoying, like,
it's a fact.
food that it's being made and going out and just...
that's the thing. The previous owner grew up in it. That was his family. He, hands down, knew more about butchering than I did. I mean, there's no argument on it.
Yeah.
But where there's the open-mindedness to say, hey, these guys want to do this with the pork, and I don't mind doing that, or they want me to cut it this way. Well,
we love when people say, we'll learn anything. Come show us what you've done.
I've had people call the shop. A guy called one day and he said, I want a Boston roast. And I said, well, absolutely. We do Boston butts all the time. And he said, no, I would like a Boston roast. And I said, okay. And he said, it's beef. And I said, Boston roast out of beef? And he said, yes. And he goes, and that's all you have to say. If you challenge me to something, if you say to me, Frank, you can't do this, it's going to get done.
Are you Googling it the next minute?
Yeah, I could care less. And this guy said, everybody tells me they can't get me a Boston beef roast. I said, well, guess what? We have them. We know how to do them. Hang up the phone. I go, oh, God. What do we do now? So I actually called Ford Brothers because they had been in it for years. And I called and I said, have you heard of a Boston roast? And they said, yeah, absolutely. It's part of the shoulder. It's just a different way you kind of cut out of the shoulder.
Yeah.
So then after talking to him and then Googling it, the guy got his Boston roast.
That's awesome.
Rachel dealt with a guy who said that his mother was his mother German, and she needed a certain pork shoulder, and they do it a certain way, a skin-on pork roast. And
Interesting.
he is literally like tears in his eyes when he comes in. He still comes in now and says, I can't believe you provide this for me. He said, my family is so excited. It was my grandmother's recipe.
That's
no
awesome.
one could do it because we couldn't find it.
That's
And then there's the goofy things. I met somebody. He was from England or London, and I met him at the Buffalo Culinary Show when we went to that, and he gave me this really off the wall name of something that he wanted, and I was panicking. I couldn't find it. Well, turns out it was a Boston butt pork roast, but in his country they call it something else.
Yeah. So there's a lot of.
So when I finally called him and used the name that he said, I forget what it was. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you have it. He shows up, he picks it up, and I'm thinking, man, you go anywhere, you can see a Boston butt. It looks like this, but he was sold on us.
That's great,
and we love it. I mean, it's just. You drive into our place, the first thing you see is an old farmhouse. But if you really open your eyes, if you really open your eyes, what you see is really true-hearted, dedicated people. I love Rachel to death. I mean, I couldn't have done this without her being committed to me or us committed to each other.
Oh yeah.
You see kids running around, loose animals.
You know what? We brought life back to the place.
We really did.
Yeah.
We really did.
That's awesome.
There's toys. Cars might have to slow down because of
Chicken
big wheels in the
walks
driveway.
by.
There's a chicken. Our kids, we don't have a 4-wheeler. We don't have video games, all that stuff, and we don't want it. What we have is I don't know what it
They're
is.
outside with ropes.
1962 Ford Jubilee tractor in the wintertime. They took 3 sleds and they tied them to the back of this thing, and that's their snowmobile.
That is
the one
amazing.
kid takes turn driving the tractors.
They call it tractor sledding.
Yeah, tractor
Are we going
sledding.
tractor sledding today?
You know, it's
pretty great.
And that's what our goal was. Our goal wasn't to sit there and be millionaires. I mean, we're like anybody else. We put $10 of gas in the car at a time and think, oh God, I hope we make it.
Yeah.
But in the end, the thing is, a customer leaves smiling because they got what they wanted.
That's
and
awesome.
They're happy, and they tell us stories. We got a letter in the mail from a man in North Tonawanda, and he said it was pretty neat. And he wrote the letter, and we were feeling down, well, many days, but this one day we were feeling down, and I get the simple card in the mail, and he said, "Dear Dispenzas, I bought a barbecue pig from you a few weeks ago. My family and I cooked it." And he said there was so much left over because we ordered too much. He said, but every day at night when we say our prayer at dinner, we say thank God for the Dispenzas because we have leftovers. And he said, all we can hope for is that you continue doing what you do. And that there...
Oh, God, that'll keep you going right there.
I don't care how many bills came in that day. That paid the bills.
That's
right there.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like customers. You know, I love the customers. You come in, you know what? Who cares? You spend a half hour with them, you talk about anything, stories. You learn so much, and it's like you meet a new friend.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
I think that's a huge part of why you guys have such a customer base is people want to meet the people who are doing it. I mean, anyone can go to Wegmans and get a cut of beef, but I'm sure nice people, but they're just a person in a white shirt who's just dishing out like things there. Yeah, and you meet somebody like you, or you get to see the kids running around. It's a whole experience. And
customers get to meet our kids. They're running through the shop.
Yeah, you really have no choice. I'm sorry. You're going to come and buy stuff from us. You will be babysitting our kids. It's kind of a neat program. It's like a crop share that we have. It's kids share. You come buy food from us for the short amount of time you're there. You're in charge of the kids.
I love it. I love it.
You know, Lucy might come by and steal some candy out of your purse or something. But
nice.
Yeah.
So I think we can maybe start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So we talked about what you guys want to do, like as far as like the pens and things like that. I mean, what other do you have like dreams for what eventually you want Dispenzas to keep being, or plans in the future? Or?
One thing is there's not a USDA local poultry processing facility in there. I mean, and to be able to do things like that, we need a separate building for that. What we want to do is essentially keep our building we have now, keep that as our retail store, because it does have the certain, the look to it and the nostalgic look. But we definitely would love, our goal is to be able to have a better, newer facility, better equipment where we can be more efficient. We can do our poultry in a separate area.
Yeah.
We can process the rabbits and process this stuff. But with our main goals being top priority humane handling of the animals,
Yeah.
and then moving on to efficiency, and continue to give the best product and have better equipment. We want to have
more space.
So we want to have, a bigger building on the property we have now.
Yeah.
And our hopes are to eventually maybe open a small storefront, maybe in Williamsville,
Oh, nice.
or even right down here on Allen, somewhere,
Hey,
in this area.
Come on down.
Yeah, we'd love to have it
Yeah,
because
just bring a side of beef and cut
Yeah.
off of that side
There,
of beef.
there's
Yeah.
no reason why we couldn't do that. Bring
Yeah.
a side of beef down, have a saw, have a counter, and people want to see it. I remember used to be Fuddruckers. You'd go in and there was
Oh, yeah.
a side of
Yeah.
beef hanging in there, and who knows if they really did cut it off of that? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never really saw them. But why wouldn't we want to have our main slaughterhouse where it is,
Yeah.
and our reputation, and just increase what we want to. Our other goal is too, which is a side note, is we want more people to get into small family farms because they wouldn't do it as much because there was nobody that would butcher their chickens.
Yeah.
Nobody that would accommodate them on,
That's a good point.
their cow or their goats or rabbits. So we want people to start, whether you have children or not, start in your family growing your own animals, grow
Yeah.
your own vegetables. We're going to be talking with Old's Farm about their
It's a great farm.
yeah, it's a great farm, and he's going to be a big help with us. And we want to start a program where kind of they do their farm share on their the CSA program with their vegetables. Why not do it with proteins? Why not
Yeah.
say, look at here's a litter of piglets we have that were born. So put down some money now, and then you can follow this pig, or or
That's a neat
do the
idea.
share program where you pay a certain amount, and every week you get delivered to your house, or you come pick up whatever we have that week that we
Yeah.
say, it's kind of neat. It's almost like a surprise. You might get some great vegetables from Oles that go with maybe a pork roast in the wintertime,
There we go.
or in the summertime you get things to grill with.
Yeah.
We also want to move into more of a fresh meat counter. Right now we don't have a lot of
Okay.
refrigeration space.
Oh, okay.
And seafood is also another thing. Obviously, local seafood is kind of difficult to
Yeah.
get a local lobster
yeah.
out of the Niagara
Yeah.
River.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but there is some.
There is a place on the west side that raises tilapia.
Do they really?
Yeah.
See, and that's the type of thing. We're also looking into a pond actually on our property where we can grow bass.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hook up with the tilapia people
Yeah,
because you offer that fresh seafood, and you don't just offer it. See, we don't want people to just walk in and there's the food. We want them to walk in and hear us say, well, you know what you can do with that?
Yeah.
Put it on your grill. Put it in your
A lot
oven.
of
Oh,
people
yeah.
ask, they come in and, well, how should I cook this, or what should I do with it? And we like to give.
And that's what's different about
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
We can tell you how to cook this stuff. We had a guy come in with a tenderloin, a whole roast, never cooked one before. I bet he's been back 5 or 6
Oh
times.
yeah, because it was the best tenderloin we've ever
Yeah.
had.
That's
And it
great.
was so simple in our minds, we're thinking, well, it's so
We're
simple
like,
to
we do it that
cook.
way all the time.
and we're not, and then we get a lot of ideas. Bruce from Tabriz has been great. Like, where he'll give me some ideas when
God, yeah.
we make homemade sausage. Sorry, Spars. If you want, Spars is great. Go there. I'm very much amateur on the sausage, but
Yeah,
it's a good, local sausage. But like Bruce said one day, start toasting your fennel. Crack it, toast it, grind it. You'll get a much better flavor. Little things like that. He didn't have to tell me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe Kennedy didn't have to give me advice on things, but we all know we can sustain each other.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's no I mean, I'm not taking business from them; they're not taking it from me.
Yeah.
We're here to work.
Everyone's
together.
just serving
Yeah.
more people better food.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and to come here and talk with you. We were just all week. It was kind of funny at first. We didn't know a lot about you, and your everything you did in your podcast, and next thing you know, everybody's calling us. Hey, I heard you're going to be on the podcast. Are you serious? You're going to go and talk with Don? And we start thinking more about it. It's exciting. It's cool because you know what? We're really just all regular people just trying
Yeah.
to make a good thing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I can't thank you guys enough for coming down here. I really appreciate you
you.
taking your
Thank you
time
for
out of your
having us.
evening. And I need to obviously need to come out and see this place.
Absolutely.
My dad grew up on a farm outside of Syracuse in like Port Byron, and then he moved to Buffalo. My mom's from South Buffalo, so very similar,
Sure.
very opposite upbringings
Yeah,
with my
yeah.
parents. And but we would always go out to my dad's farm, and I would always hate it. And I was always like, why are we going out here? Like, I don't understand it. And in the last like 2 years, me and my wife, like, our favorite things now are to like visit farms. Like it I don't know what has happened, but like going to Tea Meadow or Olds or something like that. Like now it's like one of my favorite things. So we are very excited. I would love to check out the place.
Absolutely.
And
we're going to set up Hanson Farms with Mike. He's great. There's not a lot of people that go around to the beef farms, and he's, like I say, we can't brag enough about his beef, and he's helped us so much. And he's a farmer, so he's maybe not as used to having people come to the farm and stuff and check it out. But we're getting them there, and pretty soon we'll be, hopefully with your help too, we'll be inviting people. Maybe we'll have a dinner out at his place or something.
That would be great, yeah.
Come out, yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
And for anyone who's listening to this now, tomorrow will be the event at Artisans Kitchens and Baths, because this is going to go up Tuesday. And so,
6 to 9, and it's going to be at Artisan Kitchens Bath. Also, I'm going to be doing a breakdown on Half a Pig, which is donated from Tea Meadow Farms.
Awesome.
I'm going to do a rough breakdown, and then the pig's going to be auctioned off.
Oh, wow.
So after I do the rough breakdown, I'll take the final instructions from whoever the auction winner is, take it back to the shop the next day. Rachel will wrap it up. We'll freeze it, get it ready to go. We have Krista Glennisay's got her cookbook.
Nice.
Nickel City tickets for their competition up for auction. We have
which those are like hard to get.
Oh, she said they sell out right away
in less than a half hour. In fact, when they go on sale.
Yeah, Krista just told me today that make sure people know that that's going to be there because they sell out.
Yeah, they sold out the 1 year in 5 minutes.
It's crazy
for 4 events.
Yeah, so you really got to come out. I mean, there's a lot of local things you can get at auction.
Arrowhead.
Gustaf's Son, Arrowhead's going to be donating all their wine. Of course, Trattoria Roma, we can't thank enough. Bistro Europa, gift certificate for Bistro Europa.
Nice.
So Gedra's ready to throw that out there.
Yeah, and I can't encourage places or people also to go to Artisans because I don't think a lot of people know that showroom's there. And once you walk in there, it's like you transported somewhere else.
I know, isn't it?
And it's a great place for events like
and
this.
And the owner has been unbelievable to help people.
Kevin?
Yeah. Unbelievable
really
to help people like us. You go there, you get to see different kitchens, and I hope people do realize that he is a kitchen showroom. So go there, and if you're building a house, you're planning a kitchen, please stop by and visit. But what better way to see the kitchen work than come to our event? Taste the food that was cooked on it. So it's going to be a great event. We're grateful for everyone that can come there. If you can't come, we understand. If you can't afford it, we understand as well. Just support local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. All right.